Okay, so this M3 came with a premium sound system. I got the Harman Kardon sound system in there, and it's got the OEM navigation. It's pretty good for 2002. After about 20 years or so, this radio is getting a little bit tired and old. This particular unit doesn't come with a touch screen, yet it looks like someone's been pushing their finger pretty hard that there's like a burn mark on the screen somewhere. Also, no backup camera, no Bluetooth, but it does have a 6 CD changer, which is pretty cool. But it is 2021 and this system needs to be updated. So we're installing a radio on the M3 today. So this is the unit that came with the Harman Kardon and the OEM navigation. Now, normal radio, all the connections live in the front and the install is pretty straightforward, just like your standard radio install would be. But the brains of this radio lives in the back here in the trunk, under this flap. And you can see the CD changer and the navigation CD slot, which means we have to run a harness from the back here where all the brains are, all the way to the front where the head unit lives. You know, I never had a 6 CD changer before growing up, but I do now, you know, only 20, 30 years later. It just proves a point that life is not a race, it's a marathon. Man, going back through this is like a time capsule. All my old CDs kind of gives you an idea of what I was listening to in the early 2000s. Emo music, punk music. I was getting into hip-hop dancing around that time. I got my Japanese music because I had a Japanese phase. I got some old school hip-hop. Initial D, that was brand new back in those days. Oh man, this is great. Okay, so here is the radio all laid out. Here's our radio itself. It's EONON, whatever. Instruction manuals that are actually not too bad. They got some pretty good pictures in there, and the English is readable. We got some 2 bags here. I'd imagine it's probably just like wiring harnesses and whatnot. This is going to be the wiring harness if you have like a Harman Kardon system or the OEM navigation system. That's going to run all the way from the trunk to the front of the unit. And then these 3 random boxes here are extra accessories. You have to contact the seller to get these accessories separate, but it is a dash cam, a reverse camera, and an OBD2 Bluetooth reader. So yeah, this is everything that comes in the box. So the next step is to pretty much rip out the entire rear of the car and start the install on this. All right, so here are the guts of the OEM system. Popped all the carpet out from the driver's side in the trunk, which involved also taking parts of the rear seat out, or at least move them out of the way, but the carpet is out. See the OEM units. I believe that's the OEM tuner, and then the amp is like a little thing right behind it. For wiring, we're going to probably use the OEM path for the stock harness. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the old stuff out and, you know, just continue to see what we have left to do. Okay, here is the EONON wiring harness. We got it plugged into the OEM BMW harness. So the next thing we're going to do is go to the front, pull out the trim, pull out the radio. All right, the OEM radio is out. Just an FYI, you're gonna need these OEM radio removal tools. They kind of look like this, and essentially they're like anti-theft locks on these radios. Basically what you do is you just take this little shim looking thing. There's 2 of them, one underneath each knob, and you just kind of shove them through, and then when you find the right spot, they'll pop in, you'll hear a little snap, and then you can kind of move them like away from the radio, and that should release each side. You can pull the radio out, yank out the 2 cables. Also for the AC vent, the way you want to do it is you kind of want to like brace it like this and pull, sort of like leverage it like this, and with a little bit of finesse it'll pop right out, and then you just leave it on top. Get it out of the way. but you will have to remove a couple of screws that hold all that in. My trim, surprisingly loose, missing a lot of the little friction points, but you know, 20-year-old car, yay. Anyway, it's out. I think it's almost time for us to test the radio out, put it in, all that good stuff. Let's get down to it. Okay, we're ready for the first test. I got everything plugged in. You can follow. There's like a sticker on the back here that gives you kind of like what all the connections are and where to plug everything. So, you know, just kind of follow the image, plug everything in, and yeah, let's go ahead and turn it on and see if it turns on. Ooh. Nice. I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it. It's powered on. There you go. There you go. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and test the functionalities. Okay, I was kind of fiddling around for a few minutes trying to get sound because I had power to the unit. The unit was, you know, working and powered on and everything. Bluetooth was working, but because again, we are using the Harman Kardon sound system, so it has an amp connection. And basically what happened was there was a harness that came with the radio that has like a bunch, I'm talking like a bunch of RCAs on it. And there is a female connector for the amp, and it'll be labeled too, amp connection. And then coming off of that main extended harness that we had to buy extra, there's also another blue wire that has an amp connection. Plug those two together, we got sound, baby. Hey, we got sound! All right, turn that off before I get copyrighted. Don't forget, guys, I am buying one of my subscribers $100 worth of car parts when we reach 3,000, 5,000, and 10,000 subs. So make sure you do that right now if you haven't already done. All right, quick update on the install of the radio. As you can see, as typical on a BMW, you gotta really basically take the entire freaking car apart. I ran the wires through a grommet for the OEM wiring. I'll post some better instructions, the ones that I'm following that has like really detailed pictures that kind of show you where everything is in the link in the description below, so make sure to check that out. But basically there's a grommet back here that I was able to run the wires through and essentially get them into the carpet on the side sill here. And now I'm running the wires up through steering column. Had to take off the panel below the steering wheel and was just able to run the wires through this like little opening. The best tip I can give you is like I used a light. I ran the light through a hole, kind of where the dashboard like supporting rod is, and I went from underneath and I saw the light, and that kind of gave me the idea of where to like put the wiring harness. Then I pretty much just taped them together, put it up there, grabbed it with some pliers, and was able to run it through. Anyway, with the car all apart, I'm gonna continue running the wires and get the radio into the dash. All right, moment of truth. Everything is wired up, including the rear backup camera. I decided not to put all of that on camera just because I want to spare you the couple of hours of me just struggling with plastic panels and everything. Moment of truth. Let's see if this works. Of course, we know the power works, but let's see when we put it into reverse. Hey, 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 check it out. We got a rear backup camera. So I've been playing with this radio for a few days now, and I have to say, I'm really happy with it. For the price, you get a 9-inch head unit that is definitely a step up from that 20-year-old OEM unit. Response is quick enough, and picture is not bad at all. It also has all the functions I need, including Bluetooth phone, music, and rear backup camera. An added plus is the Torque app, which I'm going to use for the gauges while on track, and GPS, Wi-Fi are also pretty cool too. CarPlay and Android Auto are also included, although the Android Auto feature requires a separate dongle to be purchased. Let me know if you want a more in-depth review of this radio. I can get a little bit more into detail about the unit itself in a separate video. All right, so we got the radio installed with the backup camera and everything, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I struggled. This took way longer than I really thought it would take, and the majority of it is because I had to run all the wires from the back to the front So it was all the plastic paneling, dealing with that really made me struggle, and just trying to fish wires through spaces that just don't exist. So that took a bulk of my time, so be prepared. Again, check out the links in the description below for the step-by-step DIYs that I used in order to do this install. Regardless, I hope that was enjoyable. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.